Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Crude-Boss, and I hope what I'm about to present to you today really opens your mind to what's possible for you, and it really shows you opportunities, options, and impacts your life in a positive way. So let's start with 3 deep breaths. It will help me with my nerves and help you just drop it into your body and be present. So let your eyes close, deeply inhale through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. Again, inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And last one, inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. All right, let's begin. This is called From Corporate Zombie to Spiritually Awake. And it's my journey and my inspiration and my heart. And I hope you like it. So I'm going to share my screen with you here. From corporate zombie to spiritually awake. So where we're going to start is what you're going to learn tonight, what you're going to expect. So I'll share how I went from corporate zombie to spiritually awake. I'll share how to lead an abundant life, both financially and spiritually. So we're talking about both the material world, the mundane world, and the spiritual world. We'll go through a guided meditation. I'll share my chosen path for residual income and freedom, and we'll do some Q&A at the end. So who am I? I'm going to share some highlight moments, and one of them is here. This is me in my living room where I'm sitting right now, drinking hot tea, and this is a really happy moment for me because I love being at home. I'm actually quite introverted by nature, even though I spend most of my time talking in front of people, whether that's in a yoga teaching context or teaching leadership. I love all of that, but I really also love being at home, creating, writing. It's my happy place. This is the love of my life, Chris, for coming up on a year, and I'm just really smitten, and so much of what I'm about to share with you has to do with why I'm able to have such a supportive, kind, creative, inspiring man. Here we are again. I'm just feeling very lovey-dovey these days. This is us on a road trip with some friends. So another thing that I love doing so much is going on these road trips. This is us last summer going through BC at a yoga festival. So laughs and times with one of my best friends. So this is what I'm very grateful to say a lot of my life looks like. Spending time with good friends, creating a lot of time freedom. Things weren't always this way though, and it's been a long, winding road to get here. And really understanding, probably anybody, but certainly me in this context, is looking back to the moments that shaped us the most. So mine was my youth, and a person that shaped me is my dad, who you can see here on the left with my little brother, who's 3 years younger than me and looks so cute there. And here he is on the right singing. So I chose these 2 photos because my dad's occupation or vocation by day was a social worker, helping people become free from their drug addiction through social work and through group therapy, which he led that was his career. It spanned 20 years. He also had a passion and a love for music and would perform often, and often write songs for the people that he worked with, for a lot of these drug addicts, often to inspire them. And through playing music and singing, he actually had some decent success. He got a gold record, which is a pretty big deal. And he got played on the radio and got to play the Forum, which was a big, like the biggest concert venue in Montreal. And I'm dating myself way back when in the 80s when this was happening. And that happened because, wouldn't you know that musicians and famous stars, a lot of them had drug addiction. So through the relationships and helping these people, he got to collaborate, which sort of catapulted him into these moments. Now, what that meant for me as a kid growing up is that here I experienced a parent figure who was helping people all the time, always working in jails, working with addicts. He would bring me in sometimes to the rehab facility, just talk about family and what's possible in recovery. So I really experienced it. And from time to time, there would be these really exciting moments of seeing him on stage, or, having very awkward, excited fans come speak to him or hear his songs on the radio, and royalty checks that would come in that would sometimes be $100 and sometimes it'd be $100,000. And what this instilled in me at the time was that it is possible to have a really magical, big life. When I say magical, I mean a lot of financial success, a lot of freedom, while also helping people. There's my mom on the left. And my mom was also a rocker. She also led this sort of double life, hanging out with the rock stars in London, like all of them, from Eric Clapton to Zeppelin to all those big 70s stars. And then by day, she was also working at an endocrinology lab, using acupuncture and studying the impact on hormones and how it would help people become free from addiction. Now, my mom, when she had children, decided to stop working. And that was certainly something that I knew from a young age that I did not want to do. Because when I turned 17, one of the most pivotal moments in my life was my father died of lung cancer. He had a rough life before living a very clean life for 20 years. But at the age of 50, he passed away. And I didn't know it at the time, but I made sort of a soul binding contractual decision to continue his legacy and continue the legacy that my mom had participated in as well. So I set out on a journey with this idea. And what was that legacy in my mind? What it was and what it still is be able to have a big impact on people in some way. Now, I knew I didn't want to be a social worker because my dad's work was really intense. He was definitely in the trenches. He had clients that would commit suicide. He would be the last person to speak to them. Very troubled people, really sad. And he would even have some people experiencing incredible pain and shame that would not know where to direct their anger, would even threaten to kill him and his family. So we would have to have a guard sit outside our home for weeks at a time at a certain point. So I knew that this was way too scary, way too raw, way too rough for me. But I did want to help people. So I explored how I could do that. And I explored volunteering in West Africa. I learned about meditation practices in China. I even went and did a master's. And this was the first moment where I thought, oh, maybe it will be academia, because I was a good student. I always did well in high school and in university and in my master's. And I started to sort of, scope out what that would look like. And it seemed cool. Okay, teaching people, being a professor, that seems like it can help the world. But what I started to discover was a lot of structure, which I don't like. I need my freedom. And a lot of just competition to get published, and not a lot of collaboration. And not, of course, there were incredible professors that stood out, but that was the norm that I saw, and it did not inspire me. So the next thing that I went into, my next step was a big glamorous job doing PR and communications for 2 brands nationally for a huge company. I was very proud of myself when I got this job 6 interviews later, a very coveted job. I worked really hard on a portfolio to get it. And from the outside, it looked really glamorous. There was a lot of travel. I got to go to France a lot. There's fashion shows. There was really creative people, intelligent people, which I really loved. And I still do love a lot of those people. What I also discovered in that, working in that environment, that there was a lot of dis-ease. There was a lot of burnout. There was a lot of distress. And I remember Fayed, this amazing He was a marketing director, and he worked himself to the bone. And he would work 3 weeks at a time, no break. And in one instance, he actually fainted while giving a presentation. And Arianna Huffington has a similar story, how she fainted, cracking her cheekbone. So there was no life balance. And this particular person would go on sick leave, on stress leave for 7-8 months at a time. He had a family to support. Then he would come back to work himself to the bone again, and then go on stress leave again. And I thought, this is really not healthy. So I was already beginning to doubt that, and I was starting to certainly feel the stress and the pace of this world. But it was the moment when I saw my boss, who had really the most coveted job there. She was someone that you would really look up to. She had the corner office. She'd been there for 20 years. She had a lot of prestige and respect within the company. And I remember it was on a Friday evening, and I was working late because I had an entry-level position. I was really trying to earn my way up and do a good job. But I was in my late 20s, and that's what you do in your late 20s. But this woman was in her early 50s, and she was also working late, hunched over her desk on a Friday night. It was like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. And in that moment, I was like, no, this is not what I want. So that sort of seed planted this crisis that I'm in the wrong place. I don't want to be here. And then soon enough, I was that person feeling burnt out, strung out, laying in my apartment, smoking cigarettes. What am I doing here? That was a moment where I got to, I would go on TV often, which again, it was fun. It was fun to present and challenge myself and put myself out of my comfort zone. But it was not for me. And that was the moment where yoga entered. So enter yoga, and yoga is amazing. And I fell in love with it. And the yoga book started piling up on my desk, and I was practicing all the time. And I paid my $3,000 and did a yoga teacher training. And I was smitten with the philosophy and the practice and how I felt. And my heart was not in my work anymore, but truth be told, I did not have the courage to quit my job in that moment. And I share that because I really want to acknowledge that when we're stepping into making a big change in our life, that it's not easy. And to say that it was easy for me would not be real, would not be true, and would probably make you feel some shame if you're about to make a big change in your life and you have some fear. Our brains are wired to keep us doing the status quo. So I did not have the courage to quit my job, but luckily that boss gave me the greatest gift ever, which is that she fired me. So here I was fired, and it was a sink or swim moment, and I decided to swim, and I did pretty well. I think I was sad and my ego was bruised for about 10 minutes, where I cried. And for a few months after that, I was sort of like embarrassed, but deep in my heart, I felt free. So I started teaching corporate yoga. I did really well. I even opened a yoga studio with no intention. It was the sort of thing where everything lined up, leap and the net will appear sort of situation. And I did well. I got press written about me. I was 32 at the time, I guess, or when that article came out. I'd been teaching for a couple of years. And not because I was so great, but I realized that this story of leaving the corporate world and following your heart, it's something that a lot of people want to do, but are sort of afraid to do it. And there was this admiration that I had done it. And little did they know that I was just, I was just terrified and kind of thrust into it. But I'm showing these to show that it went quite well. And I loved teaching, I loved the moments. I loved the freedom. I loved helping people. I thought, cool, I'm really on track here. But about 3 years into being a yoga teacher full-time, this question lingered in my head. And the question, which I asked myself, and you can ask yourself in the next few moments, was, if I were to do nothing different in the next 5 years, would I be happy where I am today? And is what I'm currently doing going to get you there, going to get me there? So I really liked teaching, but what I started to see was that to have a sustainable teaching career, the teachers around me, and myself would have to teach sometimes 10, 11, 12, 14 classes a week. That's about the most that I taught because I'd already been through a burnout. I wasn't going to burn out again. But I saw people around me teaching 20 classes, unable to, walk, just fully exhausted. And I thought, okay, well, I'm like 30, 32 now. Like, will I be able to do this for 20, 30 years? I don't think I will. And the financial situation was just not the same teaching yoga. So I started to, at that moment, I think my mind and my heart was open to something else to enter my life, which I didn't know what it would be. But I just had a clear idea, and I started to do a lot of mindset work and really ask myself what it was that I was looking for. So this is a meditation that I did often, and I'm going to guide you through it now. It'll be very short, but you can let your eyes close. And actually, if you haven't yet, grab a pen and a paper that you can write on. So you can let your eyes close. Take a few deep breaths. Pause the video if you need to. Start to feel through the top of your head. Let your heart lift slightly and soften through your shoulders. Relax your eyes and your jaw and your cheekbones. Relax tension in your shoulders. Feel the breath. Feel your torso with each breath. Feel your hips. Feel your right leg and your right foot. And feel your left leg and your left foot. And then start to picture your ideal day. A day that you could repeat over and over. It has a great balance of what nourishes you, a great balance of alone time and time with people. Where are you? What are you doing? What do you do when you wake up in the morning? What's the first thing you do? What about mid-morning and lunchtime? Early afternoon? Late afternoon? Evening, dinner time? What are you doing? What time do you go to bed? And wake up to do it all again the next day. What are you wearing? What do you see? What do you smell? Who are you with? How are you feeling? Put your hand on your heart just to really feel into that it's coming from a heart space. We're a very real place. You can gently let your eyes open. And make a few notes. You can pause the video and make some notes. And I'll share mine if you want. But usually mine involves waking up early. I love like a 5 a.m. wake up. And some meditation, some journaling, and then getting in the water. As you can see from this photo, my dream is spending more time in El Salvador. I already go there a few weeks a year, hoping to build that to a few months. Getting in a surf, getting in a swim from like 6 to 7 a.m., let's say, and then drinking my bulletproof coffee, vegan styles, and just getting in some creative work and just creating, writing, online work that inspires me, working on a project. Then around noon, I could teach some sort of movement or video or just something engaging with people around that time through the early afternoon. And then towards mid-afternoon into late afternoon, sunset times, getting back in the water or some sort of movement or a hike with my chérie, with my love, or with friends. And then certainly a dinner with friends, some sort of barbecue, and getting into bed early is like my dream day. Of course, on the weekends, we can shake it, can dance. But my typical day looks something like that. That makes me really, really happy. So is what I was doing making that possible? Well, not really to the magnitude that I wanted, because within that, there was also travel multiple times a year, freedom to take days off, weeks off if I want. So it was around this time when I started to really call that in and ask for that a dear friend of mine, Jen Wendy, who I'm still friends with, presented the concept to me of residual income, which I knew nothing about. I mean, I guess in retrospect, I had experienced it because of my dad writing songs and getting paid for them, but no one had really explained it to me. So maybe no one has explained it to you, or this will be a refresher, but the concept of residual income is told by this analogy. And the analogy is this: there was a man who hauled buckets of water for a living. Every day he would walk from the village to the water source, fill up 2 buckets of water, walk back to the village, a few hours, sell the water or give it to his family. Then in the afternoon, he would make the same trip. Well, while he's doing that, his friend joins him in the morning. They both fill up 2 buckets of water, but in the afternoon, instead of making a second trip, he starts to build a pipeline, which you can see here in the center photo. So he starts building the pipeline. He does not get paid in the afternoon. He's actually making half as much money as what the first man is making, hauling buckets twice a day. But at the end of the year, when he turns on the spigot, he now has water that can supply the whole village. He can support his family, giving his family the water. He can sell the water. And because it's so easy and accessible, he can sell it at a really good price and everybody benefits. So this is what residual income is. You start to build something, which takes a lot of work, and you get extremely underpaid at the beginning, but eventually you get extremely overpaid and it runs itself. So ask yourself in this moment, are you hauling buckets? And no shame, because most people do this. So hauling buckets would be trading hours for dollars. There's a limit on advancement and earnings. There's limited time freedom, and you're building someone else's dream. So certainly in the corporate world, even freelancing, even professionals often are hauling buckets. Or you're building a pipeline. Are you building true lasting residual income with no limits on advancement and earning, freedom to choose your schedule, and building your dreams? So I was like, hell yes, I want some of that. How do we do that? And around this time, I really started to get educated about money. And I don't know where you're at with your belief about money at this point, but what I really spent, this was around like 2014, 2015, 3 years ago, really started learning and understanding that money just amplifies what you already care about. So if you're a very materialistic, selfish person, having more money will probably make you more of that and maybe more of a jerk. If you really care about the environment, you care about people, you care about the world, with more money, you'll be able to do a lot of good. So I really started to wrap my mind around that and started to get very passionate about wanting to make a large sum of money myself, but also empower other people like myself, being a sensitive, creative, caring person, to empower them. So this is what I was really looking for. I was calling in. These are 2 books that I read, so you don't have to. Money, A Love Story by Kate Northrup, and You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jennifer Sincero. And you can also add, it's actually on my table over there, Braving the Wilderness by Brené Brown, actually anything by Brené Brown. And what all of those books speak to is the importance of getting uncomfortable is the main message, and launching yourself into the unknown, which requires a tremendous amount of courage to show up as yourself, and a tremendous amount of trust in yourself, self-love as well. And the trust part is really important, because what I've seen is that people who, and this happens when I'm teaching yoga too, people who don't want to try to meditate or try to change their habits, they have a sense that if they start to edge towards something, all of a sudden life is going to change too much and it's going to go completely out of control. And to me, that shows someone who does not trust themselves, because someone who trusts themselves knows that, well, if I take a step towards something and I like it, I'll take another step towards it and another step. And if I don't like it, I'll maybe take a step back, or I'll pivot, or I'll ask a question. So that's really the message that I get, and that's really important if you're starting to embark in what I'm going to talk about, which is building residual income and wealth while staying really true to yourself and true to your mission and what you want to create in the world. There's different ways to make residual income. One, you could write a hit song like my dad did, which, I mean, wasn't enough to support a family for decades and decades. Of course, some songs do, and if you do write, I'll Always Love You, or a hit song, more power to you. Way to go. That's amazing. You can start a product-based business, which is also, there are people that do it. A friend of my friend started Poopery, which is like a $12 million business now. It's certainly, people do it. For me personally, there's way too much risk and way too much startup costs to delve into something at this point in my life. Who knows for the future? Oh, and I tried writing songs and I played them for my friends, but no gold records there. You can write a book, which lots of people do. Will it become a bestseller that can support you? Will you be the next Liz Gilbert? I hope so. But not always not always the case. Or you can get into real estate, which again, wasn't for me. I know people who do it. And if you have a flair for this, it's awesome. I also know it's really hard. I mean, everything takes work for sure. So, if this is your passion, go for it. And ask yourself if you'll do any of these things or if you'll succeed. What I was looking for, why I didn't go for these at this point in my life, I was looking for something where the spiritual world and the mundane world, or the material world, meet. So right now on your pad of paper, I want you to write down some more, when I say spiritual things, those softer things that nourish you, like time in nature, or reading, or time alone, or a clean house, or whatever it is, those priceless things that you just love, that make you feel good. Because this is going to give you clues as to what you want to create in your life. So write down like 5. You can pause the video. For me, it's a good amount of alone recharge time and time with friends. quality time, heart-centered time with people that I resonate with and connect with. Movement time. I need to move my body at least 5 days a week. I need meditation time. I need to read. I need to be inspired. I need to create things. That if I get those things, I feel very spiritually nourished, grow, lead, learn, all of that. Then make another list of the material goods and the material things that really make you happy, that make you feel good. And like I said, I love traveling to beaches. That makes me really happy. I love going to yoga teacher trainings with teachers that inspire me. That I love that. And that could be spiritual, but guess what? That costs a lot of money to go to Bali for a month to study with Megan Curry. That's expensive. Skiing costs money, but I love it. Ethically made clothing that's stylish and gorgeous fabrics. It's costs money. Organic food, going out, I love, Chris and I just love just going out, once a week or a couple times a month, and just bar hopping and going place to place. And even I'm still ordering my little Perriers because I'm not drinking for like almost 2 years now, a year and a half. But doing those things cost money. Going to New York, going to concerts. Yeah. So write down the material things that you love. These things light me up when I do these things. So with this list, it helped me establish what kind of life I wanted to create. And the path that I chose to create true long-term sustainable wealth in the terms of residual income is an MLM, which is multi-level marketing, which is a direct sales style business, which if you don't know what it is, Google it, find out what it is. So I did this, and I'm going to share this slide after. This is an article that Notable did on me, Taking the Leap, How a Corporate Communications Leader Turned into a Yoga Success Story. And I share this because I think it's funny, and because success is so relevant. I did feel very successful in the time, in that I was very happy. I was doing great in the yoga world, and it was wonderful to have a booked schedule, to have press. But what was also really cool was to have peace of mind and ease and feel secure and like I was building something long term, which I didn't have. And I used to think that people who got into MLMs were like these losers that didn't have any other marketable skills or couldn't do anything else. And what I found was that it's the exact opposite. It's really intelligent people who just want more, like I did and like I do, and have figured out that it's the most intelligent way to create that life, to create the freedom, the impact, just the life. So here's another slide showing I was, often ranked amongst the top 10 yoga teachers, but I wanted more for my life. And thank God this MLM arrived. So it's something that can enhance your life. So let's go into some myths and facts. Total honesty. I was first approached in 2014 by my friend Maddie, who, thank God for Maddie. I love her forever. She's 25 and she's super cool. And she is just this laid back goddess with this strong heart and spirit and wisdom that blows me away. And so she says, Jen, you should really check out this MLM. And I was like, not into it. It took me a full year. Just like how I was too afraid to leave my corporate job, I was too afraid to try to do an MLM. And I'm starting to learn now that if something shows up, step towards it. Don't reject it. Don't judge it so quickly, because that's definitely what I did. So this slide's really funny because the whole thing, oh, that looks like a pyramid scheme. And when I started, people said, oh yeah, what is this pyramid scheme, this Ponzi scheme? Well, pyramid schemes don't exist anymore. They were a thing in the 80s where it was like, if you pay money, eventually you'll get money, and there's no product. First of all, that doesn't exist. And direct sales is just a different way of sharing a product. And pyramid scheme, well, most things in life are in this pyramid structure where you have a CEO at the top making most of the money, and a president, then a vice president, middle management, as you can see here, team leaders, supervisors, and then all your hardworking employees at the bottom who will never have a chance to out-earn the CEO in a million years, who will never have who it will be very difficult for them to climb up the ranks to CEO. It will take like at least 10 years, if not much more than that, if it ever happens. Whereas the direct selling model or multi-level marketing model, which you see on the right here, it's a network of people supporting each other and helping each other. And the people who are on my team, who are in my structure, some of them are out earning me. They are making way more money than me, even though they joined after me and they're so-called below me in my tree, in my organization. But it all just depends on what you put into it, what you get out of it. And I also benefit from their success. So I want to help them rather than have it be a combative, competitive environment, which I experience in both corporate and in the yoga world, unfortunately. It's a very collaborative environment. And this is amazing. Did you know that the #1 way that women earn 6 and 7 figures a year is from a home-based business, from an MLM? When I heard this, I was like, hell yes, this is what I want for myself. And just to tell you, in the yoga world, I saw just like when I was in corporate and I saw so much dis-ease and unhealth and people struggling, in the yoga community, I saw the same thing. It was just different. It was either people who were seemingly making it work, but they were being supported financially by their parents or by their spouse, which wasn't fantastic for people that are in their 30s, which didn't necessarily feel so great for them. And it wasn't so good for long-term sustainability. Or they were supporting themselves, sometimes even supporting kids, and incredibly burnt out and stressed out. So, and I always had a vision to support and uplift the people. So when this MLM came into my mind, I said, oh, wait a second, I get to create a huge residual income for myself, and I can help this for other people, other women. Sign me up. I'd explained this slide before. So things you should look for, because not all MLMs are created the same. And this comment is so silly, and I get it because it's how our brains are wired. But you know what, especially, I don't get it so much anymore just because of who I'm attracting. But when I started, I'm doing this MLM, someone would say, oh, my brother did one a few years ago and it was really bad. Yeah, I don't even get near those. And it's sort of the same logic to say, well, I went to this one restaurant and it was bad, so I just stopped going to all restaurants. Or that one movie sucks, so no more movies for me. So just watch that. So know that not all MLMs are created equal, just like everything in the universe. So you want to look for certain things like amazing retention in a growing company. You want a heart-centered company. If you're like me and you care about other people and you want a heart-centered company. You want a consumable product that you genuinely love, because you're going to be educating people on it, and you want it to be fun, and you want to use it, and you want to feel really great about it. Sorry, my knees are hurting. You want a compensation plan that truly lets you reach your goals and dreams no matter the size. So this is the MLM that I partnered with. It's doTERRA. I love these oils. I love the people. I love the culture of science, of education, of helping people. I love my team. So let's go into this. So I'm going to start with the heart-centered aspect to doTERRA, because I think after coming out of a large corporation in the past, I was very mistrusting of big companies. So the first thing that I wanted to know yeah, even before I really started using the products, I wanted to know, well, what's the deal with this company? So I want you to YouTube doTERRA frankincense sourcing. And I know it can be so easy to say, oh yeah, they just made this marketing video to look so good, but I've since met the founders, I've met the people. These are genuinely good people. You know, you could choose to be judgmental, but when you watch these videos, you see that, so doTERRA is an essential oil company, which you may or may not know, and they're sourcing the most pure oils in the world, but they have a very strong mission, and it's Dave Sterling, one of the founders who I adore, a strong mission to make sure the essential oils which come from plants are sourced in an ethical way. And I won't go into the full video, but basically our frankincense comes from Somalia. And in Somalia, this process of distilling this essential oil is a very respectable or very sacred practice that is passed down through generations. And yet these farmers were getting paid 0.08 cents per pound. The exact amount is in the video. There were so many middlemen, they were not getting anything. So doTERRA came in and changed up the system and started to make it so the farmers would get paid, that the women would have jobs. And these women did not think that their lives were going to change, and they have changed. And they get paid regularly, a regular salary for doing this work that they've always done, that they love, but now they're getting paid properly. I mean, I could go on, and I'll just share one more. Same thing in Bulgaria. Did you know that Bulgaria provides so much lavender, melissa, amazing plants, but there is so much poverty, they did not have the facilities. So doTERRA has gone in and they made the Esoterra. They provided a proper facility that the workers that were already working there get to use. And doTERRA partners with them and supports their charities. So this is another thing. Not only are they supporting the growers to really thrive, any community they go into, they'll say, what charity is really important to you? What do you want to create in this community? And they will partner with it. So in Bulgaria, it is an orphanage called the Tea House, where they will teach training skills to these orphans when they become teenagers and grow up and go into the world. And another one, which I did not put a slide, but is so important, Google Underground Railroad, and it's rescuing children from sex trafficking situations. And doTERRA has donated millions to this charity. Dave Sterling, our founder, has actually been on, they're called jumps, and they pull these kids from these horrible situations where many of them have been sold into sex trafficking from age 4 or 5 because their families are poor, or maybe they were kidnapped. And these kids actually recover in community. I can't even talk about it too much because I'm going to start crying because it's too sad. And we've seen the videos, but we've seen the impact, and we've seen how they are healing. And it is all thanks to doTERRA. And you can roll your eyes and say, oh yeah, they're just doing this thing to pull on your heartstrings. But it is amazing work. And it is some of the most important charities that should be supported. And thanks to this company that I'm so proud to be part of, I get to do work to enhance my life, to use products I love, and to support these charities. So the heart is absolutely there. Here are the founders on the right. You have Dave Sterling right on the left. A few over, you have Rob Young. These are the people I know the best. Emily Wright in the center, and Dr. Hill, and the others who are wonderful as well. I've met them all. I've shaken all of their hands. And again, just listen to your mind. I've had a friend who's saying, oh, they're all wearing suits and they're all these white people and this. And you know what? They're all good people, and they are creating so many opportunities for all genders, all people of all different races. They just happen to be the experts in multi-level marketing and in essential oils, and they're the ones who started it, and they're awesome. So right now, doTERRA is the largest essential oil company in the world. They've become $1 billion company in less than 10 years. So we're switching tracks from heart to your own sustainability, because you also have to be smart, right? Be with your heart, make sure your head comes with it. There's 120 markets open worldwide. They're opening more and more. Brazil just opened this month, which is so exciting. They are debt-free. There's no outside interest or funding. They're part of the $1 trillion wellness industry. And the team, I mean, there's just so much love and heart in these people and passion for these oils. You should also watch the video on sourcing copaiba. Copaiba is Copaiba, doTERRA copaiba in Brazil. And I added this slide because what I've noticed too, for those of you that are in the know about essential oils and doTERRA, and even some of my own team are saying, well, it's too late to enter, like I've missed the boat. And that is just not true at all, especially in Canada. Only 1% of people are using essential oils. And in the US, the essential oil business is at 3.6 or 7 billion right now, and that is going to double. So there's plenty. There is more than enough to go around. And with that, you want to make sure that you're partnering with a company that is sustainably and ethically sourcing these oils. And if you watch the frankincense in Somalia video, you will see the environmental scientists that they brought on to make sure that the trees are not overcut so they don't die. This is kind of a cheesy slide, but also just to show you that it's broken the model of what multi-level marketing is. And I had a friend who had been working with another company, and she had stopped because she said, you know, the more I went to these events, like I just didn't really resonate, didn't really like the people that were going. And for me, it's the exact opposite. Because of the culture that doTERRA has created, instead of focusing on money, there's so much focus on the product. Of course, this video is about money in the business because that's the specific theme and intention of this video. But most of the work that I do is educating people on how to use essential oils to empower their health, to take care of their families, to clear the toxic chemicals out of their home. Most MLMs have a few products. doTERRA has hundreds of products. The retention rate for most companies is 13%, whereas doTERRA's is 80%. So this is people that order every month because it's a brilliant product. It's a consumable product that people love, that people use. Rather than the training beyond money, it's on products. And rather than there be hype, it's all education. I've been to many events. And the annual event is 3 days. It's called convention. There's 1 day on the science. There's 1 day on all the charity, and then there's 1 day on just the new products and growth. So it's so fascinating and it's educational, and they bring in doctors and nurses and professors and experts, and it's for my intellectual side, I love it. So what can you expect for yourself? So a current 10-year plan for an average annual income in Canada, and this is even high because did you know the average Canadian makes about $30,000 to $40,000 a year? So your average income, let's say you'll start off around $51,000, and after 10 years, you've gone up about $3,000 a year, and hopefully you're around $67,000. And this is what most people sign up for, but this is the old model. For doTERRA 10-year plan, this is not all MLMs, but for doTERRA's, in your first year, you're earning about $1,000, then it goes to $3,000, and then $7,000 in the year. So you're not living off of it. It's definitely your side hustle. By year 4, $24,000, still your side hustle. By year 5, you're making $60,000, which is already is taking you, it's about where you would get in corporate. But year 6, that's gone to $96,000. Year 7, $180,000. This is just if you stick with it. Year 8, almost $500,000. Year 9, over $1 million. And this is possible. So the compensation plan is amazing because it actually incentivizes you to help the people on your team, where some MLM compensation plans will make it so they are in competition with the people on your team. So this might be a little too detail oriented, but to be super simple, people lower down where there's more of them, you're actually getting 7% on their sales compared to higher up. So you're always incentivized to support people. And I have really benefited from this. My upline has put amazing people under me. And my team, geez, these people that I work with, they are so lucky. I keep placing more and more people under them. There's so much support built into it because doTERRA created a compensation plan that would incentivize you to help your team. It's brilliant. So to look at your average monthly earnings, the first rank is Elite, where you get $300 to $500. Then Premier, $800. Silver, you get $2,200. Gold, you're getting $4,900. I'm just between a silver and a gold right now after doing it for just under 3 years. Platinum, $9,000. Diamond, $17,000. And Blue Diamond, $38,000. This is per month. And Presidential Diamond, just over $100,000 per month. So I want to show you my current 5-year plan to give you an idea. So yoga always pays me around $35,000 to $40,000 a year. So I joined in October 2015. In all honesty, I did not know what I was doing. I don't even think I did anything until like March 2016, maybe June. I sort of started to figure out what I was doing. So my first year, I made $4,000. Great. It's not much. In my second year, which was last year, I made $20,000. So that's 5 times as much what I made the year before, which is pretty amazing. And now based on, we're almost halfway through 2018, I'll make about $50,000, maybe $40,000. But I'm still, just to let you know, I'm doing all of this while I'm still teaching yoga. I'm still teaching like 6, 7 classes a week. And that's down from like 10, 11. And I'm actually enjoying teaching yoga more because I'm not stressed out and tired. And my yoga career is actually thriving just as much, if not more than when I was only teaching yoga. I've been invited to guest teach on more retreats than before. I've been invited to co-teach in teacher trainings. My yoga studio is fuller than it's ever been. And I really believe that it's just part of my energy is more relaxed, more confident, and yeah, things are just going well. So I share this because I obviously work with a lot of yoga teachers and healers. I tend to attract those people, and they have this fear that, oh no, I'm going to have to give up my yoga teaching and, or that's going to suffer. And it's not the case at all. It's just going to get better. It's really, doTERRA is like an amplifier for whatever you're passionate about. So that I'm projecting based on what I've seen happen to the people around me and in myself, that 2019 making $85,000 with doTERRA and 2020 making $132,000. So, and this is even considered slow for doTERRA growth, but I've still grown way faster than your average 10-year plan. If I go back, I'm only starting to finish up my 3rd year, where if you were doing the 10-year plan, you would have only made $7,000, and I've done, I'm coming up on way more. In my 2nd year, I did 20,000. So in my 3rd year, it's between 40 and 50. So I'm feeling good. Like, you know, it's really possible. And I really want you to know, I have not killed myself to do this. I have like really prioritized yoga and other things. It's really only in the last 6 months that I was like, all right, I really get this. I see this vision. I'm a professional. I'm going to make webinars like this. And I'm really going for it. So just know that like you put in some attention every week and this thing grows. It's amazing. Here is my earnings since 2016. So as you can see, it starts off really slow. And what makes me sad is that some people they're not patient. And if you look at this first little while, like nothing's really happening. You know, my first checks were for like $20, $12, like really not much at all. And, but then it really starts to take off. So as you can see here, in April 2017, I totally released gas, sorry. In April 2017, I made $400. It was a little bit of a lull, but this past April 2018, I made $2,000. So again, that's a huge increase. My income increased 5 times. And both instances were during a low month, because that's a sort of, you know, business cycle that happens in my business. So I'm going to show you this. This I did a screen capture a few days ago where I had 979 people in my organization, and it's even gone up. I think it's at like 988 now. I'm definitely going to break 1,000 this month. But I want to let you know that I've only enrolled about 100, maybe 120 people. The other 900 people have come from them growing. By me sharing my belief and just sharing the oils, they share and it grows. That's residual income. It takes on a life of its own. And as long as I share love with my builders, as I text them, as I check in with them, sometimes weekly, sometimes once a month, depending on what they want, my job is to just meet them where they're at. This really grows. And what I'm also showing you here is look at all the different countries. You have Australia, Belgium, Canada, France, a big team growing in Great Britain, Mexico, Poland, Sweden, and all of these places. At a certain point, I'll be visiting them because to offer, training and support to the team. So it really starts to become getting paid to travel, which has really been my ultimate dream, I think, my whole life. So the money is amazing, and I love the people even more. So here are a bunch of people from my team, and this is just what it feels like. I just have to pinch myself because it feels like I'm just growing something with the most amazing people, and we're like pinching ourselves with what's happening. Just some more photos. If you know Elena Brower, she's our upline. If you're a fan of hers, you get to work with her when you work with me and join this team. She's a divine person. There's my upline Maddie, me gazing at her as we were in this Airbnb in Whistler. This is at a Wanderlust festival a couple years ago, or last year. This is us in Salt Lake City, just team fun. So what's really cool about doTERRA is that it's not very difficult to start. So you can really dip your toe in. And how I ask that people start is that don't start by building right away. I really want you to be a product of the product, meaning start using the oils, because if you don't like the oils, you're not going to enjoy selling them. You're not going to enjoy sharing them with your friends. You're not even going to enjoy using them. So where most people start, sometimes I'd say like 1% or 0.5% of people come in just like a horse out of the gate being like, I want to build this business. But honestly, what I tell them is like, you're not allowed. You have to use these oils for 3 months at least. So you live the lifestyle. You start using peppermint, as I've been sneakily putting on my feet as I'm talking to you, or on my temples. Use peppermint, use lavender, use wild orange, use the oils, support yourself. Then if you like them, you could maybe share after a few months. And then once you have a few people that were into the oils and liked them, and you got them to create their account, then you start to build. So it happens very organically, or not. Some people just start, they just want to use the oils for years before they build. So what does it actually look like? I wanted to really give you some concrete numbers and expectations, because I know that without clarity, people can feel afraid and feel like it's a trick, or feel like, the unknown is just scary. So I wanted to make it really clear for you. So what does it actually involve? This is what people ask me all the time. So if you put in 3 to 5 hours a week, in 2 to 3 months, you can get to Elite, which is between $300 and $700 a month. Okay? Elite to Premier. So Elite in 2 to 3 months and Premier in 6 months. So what does that look like? You're enrolling a few people a month. If you put in 10 to 15 hours a week, so that's like definitely a part-time job investment, you can get to Elite in 1 to 2 months. You can get to Silver in 6 to 9 months. And you can get to Gold in 1 to 2 years. So what we're talking about here is a gold income is about $4,700 a month. This is American. What does that look like? You're enrolling 4 customers or more plus 1 builder every month. And the last one, if you want to really go for it, And truth be told, I'm not even putting in my 30 hours. I'm still working up to that. If you want to put in 15 to 30 hours a week, you can get to elite in 1 month. You can get to silver in 2 to 3 months, and you can get to diamond in 1 to 2 years. And diamond means $16,000 a month. And it's very doable. And I've seen lots of people do it. I have lots of friends who are diamond, and it is attainable for you. And when I started this, I said, oh, well, I'll just get to silver and I'll make $2,000 a month and I'll just stay there, I guess, for like a couple, like forever. And that's where I'll stop. I mean, do that if you want, but I'm just telling you, if you build to silver, you just got to keep doing what you're doing for a bit longer and you'll get to diamond. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you create that for yourself? I will say though, that you can do this business part-time, you can do it full-time, but you cannot do it sometimes. So you can't just kind of flirt with it and do it for a bit and then stop and do it for a bit and then stop. Just choose some action. It's just like if you were going to exercise, or if you were going to learn to meditate, or if you're going to eat, if you wanted to change your diet. It's like anything in the universe, anything in life, just commit to a certain amount of time every day and do that every day. So if it's 5 minutes you can do per day, I will show you what to do for 5 minutes. If you can do 20 minutes a day, if you can do 2 hours a day, I will tell you what those things are, but just do a little thing every day and it will grow. So how do I start? If you're like, okay, I want to learn. No, there are not huge enrollment fees. No, you do not have to pay $4,000 to get going. It's very simple. You start by ordering some oils. And if you don't want to build the business, you have amazing oils that you will use that will support you, that will support your cells and make you feel amazing. You will get education when you order the oils. You get a fantastic booklet. You get educational videos from me. You get material. You get gifts in the mail from me. You will be supported. So if you're looking at this and you're like, I don't know how to use these oils, don't worry. That wasn't the theme of this call, but usually I do a lot of oil education. So the most popular kit that people start with are these 10 oils listed on the left: oregano, tea tree, lemon, frankincense, On Guard, lavender, peppermint, digest, zen, easy air, and deep blue. It's taking all my power not to explain each one, but they're amazing oils. You can get them for $330 wholesale Canadian. Once you get that, you've become a member. You've created your account. That's it. There's no fee. And $330 for 10 oils plus a diffuser that's usually worth $80 retail is a really good deal. And this month only, the month of May 2018, there's like, at the time that I'm presenting this, like a week left in the month. You also get an Immortelle for free, which is this, and it's amazing, and it has rose and frankincense, and it is for your skin. And when I buy them, because I buy them every May, I will actually pour half out into another empty bottle, which I have, and fill it up with fractionated coconut oil to make it last longer, because it's actually so potent that it's too potent to go straight on and put a lot on. But I adore the smell. So that's what I'll do, and it lasts you a long time. If $330 is not accessible to you, and I get that, and I have been there, there is a kit with the same 10 oils for $185. If you are dying for a diffuser, you can add the diffuser for $60. So you're paying $245 for all these oils. If this is still not accessible, but you want to dip your toe in and you want to learn, you can also pay $42. That is your I'm starting fee. And then you can pick one oil. You can pick a bottle of lemon for $13. So you're paying total 42 plus 13, you're paying like $55, and you're starting your business, which can become $1 million business for $55. I mean, what other opportunity gives you that? So if you're interested in getting started, you can visit my website, jennifercrudeboss.com/doTERRA. And you can email me at jen@jennifercrudeboss.com. These are linked in the notes below. When sleeping women wake, mountains will move. This is really what I feel. I feel like this whole process has been an awakening. So where do we go from here? I'll be doing another webinar on the oils. If you're like, yeah, this sounds cool, but I really want to know like what are essential oils and how do I use them? Will I use them? Come to this webinar, or it will be posted for you soon. Tuesday, June 5th at 8 p.m. If I have your email, it will be sent directly to your inbox, so you can put it in the comments below, or if you go to my website, there you can subscribe there, or just email me and ask to receive it. And next February 2019, if you want to delve into this world of blending the spiritual and the mundane and spend more time with me, if you like what I've been talking about, I'll be leading a retreat there, and it's a fantastic way to just create the change and to create the belief and take care of yourself. And really, I've been doing this for many years now, where my vacations are also an opportunity to delve deeper into my heart and learn something. And it's an amazing time. We just got back a few months ago, and it was wonderful. It was incredible. So that's an opportunity and option for you. And just know that your vocation might choose you, but you have to choose your vocation as well every single morning. You get to really shape your life. And the last quote, I'm loving the quotes tonight, is by Brené Brown, who is a huge inspiration of mine. And she's the reason why now I'm able to really show up and give a webinar like this and speak from the heart and speak with confidence. She writes, because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world, our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. Sorry, I'm laughing because I've been really funny on this webinar. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. So the self-love practice, the self-acceptance practice is a huge, huge part of how you're going to be able to step up in your life and shine. And it's by Brené Brown. Read any of her books. They're so good. So Q&A time. I did receive some questions before, so I will answer one of them now, which I do have written down, which is from Maria. And she said, I'm working 9 to 5. And I feel like I have no time. I feel brain dead. I feel tired. Where can I find the time? And what I say to her, I'll stop sharing the screen. What I say to her, and for anyone else who is in this situation, is that consistency is your best friend. And it's more important to be consistent than it is to do huge amounts of work. So if you have like a really demanding full-time job, find half an hour in your week. Just start with half an hour. Let's say it's on a Saturday at like 11 a.m. From 11 to 11:30 every Saturday, you're going to, if you're doing doTERRA, you would just start. So you've ordered your kit. You would just start by preparing little samples. So you have those samples with you. And then as you're going through your life, and you're using your oils and you're using your Immortelle or whatever, and someone's like, oh, what is that? That smells so good. What is that? You say, oh, I have a little sample for you, little vial. I can show you where to order them. You want to try it? They'll say, oh, thank you. So you share that vial with them. And then a few days later, or a week later, say, oh, how are you liking it? How are you enjoying it? Oh yeah, you're liking it. If you want, my upline, Jen, is teaching a class. She's going to teach it at this time, at this place, or she's going to teach it online. I teach a lot of online classes on Facebook Live. Or, she did a video on how these oils can help your sleep or digestion. Would you like to watch them? Take a look. I love these oils. I'm delving into it. This does not take a lot of time. It just takes belief in yourself. So that's how I would start, with half an hour a week. Even better would be if you could find 10 minutes a day. But if you can only find half an hour on Saturday, start with that. And this is for the same thing goes for the busy mom, the person with the big teaching job, whatever it is. Just find something and be consistent weekly. You can do that. And the most amazing thing about doTERRA is that you are supported. You are not alone. So you have my support to help you out. You have whoever enrolled you or whoever sent you to this video is also going to help you. And as you grow, you're going to meet other people. It's called Crossline, other people on other teams. We help each other so much, and it's the most beautiful thing. And we don't benefit. I don't make any money when I help a friend of mine in Kingston, or other people help me, but there's just this community that's really, really special, and it's really anchored in service, and it's just with the understanding that what goes around comes around. So just trust and take a step towards it. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Thank you so much for joining.